Welcome to our 72-mile, 116-kilometer canoe trip around the Bowron Lake Canoe Circuit, 23 to 29 July 2025. Our heroes are Renee and Art, paddling the full circuit for the second time. This time flying into and out of Calgary, Alberta, but those portions of the trip will be in a separate video. For now, enjoy our Bowron canoe trip. We rented our canoes through Becker's Lodge, staying the night before the trip in their George Isaac cabin. The afternoon that we arrived, we headed over to the park registration office and found ourselves checking in and watching the mandatory park video. Then we returned to enjoy an evening meal at the lodge, in the morning their breakfast before starting out. Day one begins with a 2.4-kilometer portage from the park's registration office to Kibbe Lake. While the portage trail is wheelable, the first kilometer is all uphill, and you may want to double carry your gear over the trail. There are bare cache containers at both ends of the portage trails for storing your gear. This is what we did, and it was much easier on us. Kibbe Lake is a small lake, so it is a nice introduction to the much bigger lakes that are to come. We stopped to check out campsite number 1 and Kibbe Lake cabin. Site 1 is an okay campsite with several tent pads. Unfortunately, when we were there was some trash in the fire grate. Please pack out your trash. Kibbe Lake, 23 July 2025. From campsite 2, beginning of the portage to Indian Point Lake. Day 1 was 15.1 kilometers over a 4-hour period from the park registration's office to campsite number 5 on Indian Point Lake. The day started at 13 degrees Celsius and rose to 31 degrees at the end. Indian Point Lake's initial calm provided the opportunity to swing the canoe through a 360-degree circle to capture the surrounding mountains. The calm on Indian Point Lake did not last long. A quick stop to check out campsite number 4, a nice high-up site looking south, but we pushed on to site 5. We arrived at campsite number 5 at 12:38, almost 4 hours since we departed the park registration's office. 2 years ago, we stayed at site 6, so this was a new site for us. It has a nice sandy beach and is set back in a shallow cove. Mocha chocolata. It's an essential ingredient to every camping trip. Here we are at Site 5, inflating our air mattress, got the tarp up, and soon we're going to have quinoa bowl for lunch. Herb roasted chicken, I believe. Day 1 ended at Site 5 with our Thai chicken peanut noodle supper. Delicious. Tomorrow we head from Indian Point Lake to Isaac Lake. Day 2 finds us on the water at 6:08 a.m. from Site 5. Indian Point Lake is calm, and we paddle quietly past Sites 6 and 7. A pair of loons cross our bow. Day 2 was 18.7 kilometers of paddling and portaging from Site 5 on Indian Point Lake to Site 17 on Isaac Lake. Nearing the end of Indian Point Lake, Site 8 and Indian Point Cabin are located in the trees on the point that's on the left. The Narrows at the end of Indian Point Lake. The small pond after the Narrows. Approaching Site 9 and the dock for the portage into Isaac Lake. Even double carrying 2 packs across the portage separately from the now lightly loaded canoe, it is still tough work. The packs are stored at both ends of the portage in bear cache containers. Oop. The end of the 1.6 kilometer portage into Isaac Lake is notorious for its muck and mud due to a stream entering the trail. Here I'm walking back along this last section of the trail to pick up a pack. The park crew does its best to maintain this section of the trail. Site 10 is at the end of the portage, a welcome sight if it is late in the day and Isaac Lake is kicking up. Paddling down the west arm of Isaac Lake on the south side of the arm. We then switched over to the north side of the west arm of Isaac Lake to approach Wolverine Bay. At the mouth of Wolverine Bay, we slowly swung the canoe clockwise, first looking east towards Wolverine Mountain at 2,056 meters, then southeast down the main arm of Isaac Lake, which is at approximately 1,000 meters above sea level, then looking at Mount Peaver at 2,100 meters. And then back up the east arm of Isaac Lake. And finally into Wolverine Bay itself. The Cook Shelter at Wolverine Bay is adjacent to the 9 tent pads of Sites 15 and 15A. The Ranger Cabin at Wolverine Bay. Headed down the eastern arm of Isaac Lake. We stopped to check out campsite 16. It was occupied by 2 German fellows trying to fish for the first time. Renee helped them set up their rods and then taught them how to cast. They told us about being skeptical about the signs warning of bears in the area until they encountered a bear on the very first portage trail. We pushed on to campsite 17, a nice site with 2 tent pads and space for a tarp near the fire grate. It has a nice beach that faces west towards Wolverine Bay. I hope you enjoyed days 1 and 2 of our 2025 Bowron Lake canoe trip.